welcome again to Unfiltered Football. We have Ikram and Mukhtar. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about how footballers go through long-term injuries by themselves and how it affects them mentally and emotionally and how it impacts their performance and personal lives. We've seen a lot of footballers, really good footballers who've gone through really, really bad injuries, and they came back, they were never the same. So let's have a quick go through and let's hear what our fans have to say. Ikram, you first.
This is like an interesting topic. I think it depends on two things, but I think the second thing is more important than the first. Number one is the type of injury. We've seen like ACLs, we've seen crazy injuries where they just physically can't come back the same. It's just not possible. But number two, I also think it's mentality of the player itself and how much they want it. As much as I can say we've seen the craziest injuries and they can't come back the same. I'll give one example that comes to mind. Luke Shaw, but the guy broke his leg. It was disgusting. He was an upcoming talent. He was amazing. Broke his leg, and the previous season he just played. Obviously, he's kind of off form right now. But I would say that's due to instability in the team with Ollie gone, new manager, etc., etc. Also coming back from an injury in summer. But last season, I would say he was one of the best left backs in the world, the way he was playing. And he's one of England's best players in the Euros, and we made it to the finals, and he scored in that final. And this guy came from a leg break. Also with Jose Mourinho's comments about him. So his mentality is just insane. He came back and he decided, no, I'm not going to let that stop me. If we look at the likes of Marcus Rashford, he was playing through an injury just because he wanted to play football and he wanted to delay his surgery. He still played great. He scored like 18 goals the season before last. Last season, he scored quite a few goals. He was involved in the Euros. He's back from injury now, and he's scoring and assisting game in, game out. So for me, I think, although it can affect them mentally, I do think if you have that mentality to push through it, you can do it. But some footballers may lack that mentality to push through it.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that. Go on, Mukhtar.
I have a few in mind, to be honest, and I feel like we go way back. And I think Mustafa Musi, we both can agree to this. Eduardo
I was
Silva.
literally thinking about that when he mentioned Luke.
All right, okay, I'll
Go.
leave you. Okay, all right, oh man.
I was
Okay,
go on.
I'll speak about Ramsey then. Aaron
Another one I was
Ramsey is
thinking
the guy.
about.
Another
No,
one you
no,
was
go on,
thinking
go on, go on.
about.
Seriously, these guys, as Ikram said, with Ikram, with Luke Shaw, he came back, but
Mm.
Mourinho didn't last that long. But with Ramsey and Eduardo, they had Wenger, whose man management skill is number one, right? He used to look after these players like he was their own dad, he was on kids. But yeah, Mukhtar, I don't want to cut you off. Eduardo and
Um,
Ramsey, but there's a more. Yeah, I don't want to talk
yeah.
about Arsenal players, to be honest. There's a lot. Go
Um,
on.
there's also so I've got three in mind. I have Eduardo, I have Aaron Ramsey, and Djibril Cisse. Djibril Cisse. If you guys remember, he was running down the wing, then all of a sudden his leg became like this. It was disgusting, and no one basically it was a tackle, and it wasn't intentional. The studs didn't go up. Basically, he rolled on his ankle, and then just zoof, it went. And basically going back to Eduardo, it was crazy because he was out for 2 years. That's first and foremost. Secondly, we were on the brink of, I wouldn't say just about to, we was, I think, Muzi, correct me if I'm wrong. It was February 2008 or 2009. We were 10 or 12 points ahead. We were first. And I remember
That was
everyone's
the
like,
end.
yeah.
That was the end of our season, basically. We collapsed from there.
Because because thing is, everyone said, I remember everyone said, just give the trophy to Arsenal. That's it. Season's done. Yeah. At the second everyone saw that,
That's why I say
it's
the
just like,
season end is
zoof,
May.
zoof. Everyone, like mentally, emotionally, they were gone. It's like everyone froze, to be honest. And because it's like everyone had the trauma. Everyone had like, I'm sure if you see something like that, you won't be able to sleep for a long time,
Yeah.
Because like you're seeing bones left, right, center is broken, and the leg is like this, it's finished. And all right, okay, like when you see with him, he had to go through that alone 2 years. Aaron Ramsey had to go through that alone for about nearly about like 15 months or so, or 16 months. Djibril Cissé has to go through, everyone has to go through it alone. Also, Hector Bellerin, one thing as well, he ruptured his ACL or PCL, I can't remember. I think it was his ACL. It was against Chelsea when we beat them that time. Or I think we. Oh, sorry, I ever beat them. No, we drew 2-2. Sorry, my bad. We drew 2-2. It was at the Emirates. Long story short, he was also saying, like, he put it as he put it on his YouTube channel because Callum Chambers or Rob Holding, they had like a similar injury to him, and they were saying, and they were speaking about how they were what do you call it, like bonding together because like they were going through like a similar
Holding.
It was Holding, yes. Bellerin, he was talking about the way how they were telling each other like their pain and everything, because they know what kind of pain that they were going through. And Bellerin was at I wouldn't say the top form of his life, but I would say he was in a good form that time. The second he came back, lost pace, lost confidence, wouldn't go into tackles. And to be honest, come on, man, that's that's the norm. You won't go into, even Aaron Ramsey when he came back, I saw it myself. I remember matches after matches, it took a very long time for him to go back into normal tackles, let alone someone slide tackling him, because he will have a
Mukhtar, one thing it is, most of the players, first of all, when we call them injury prone, I always say there are players who let their injuries, I mean, in terms of our topic here, they let their injuries ruin them mentally. It first starts from there, right?
Yeah.
You have players like Santi Cazorla, right? That guy is one of the best midfielders I've seen, playing in the Premier League, right? But he injury after injury. You see, you have players like Santi Cazorla and Jack Wilshere. They used to invite tackles, right? People used to tackle them because they can keep the ball, dribble, and all that. And with player like Jack Wilshere, they used to go through the tackle. They're never afraid. But Santi Cazorla, he was told to stop playing, from what I remember. His leg was different. And never stopped him from playing mentally, again, like Luke Shaw. It never stopped them. You understand? They carried on. He went back to Villarreal. He done really good, and I think they won I don't know. Well, from whatever he done, they were about to be relegated. He got them, I think, to Europe, if I'm not mistaken, and he managed to get into Spain squad. And when he did 2-3 years ago, he's one of the hardest squad to get in. And when you had the likes of Xavi and all that, so he managed to get in, right? See, it's more like mentally. You have players like Diaby. I always say this guy is made of glass. If Diaby, when they used to say, if one player, choose a player that you wish he never had injuries, is Diaby for me.
Oh yeah, definitely, I agree.
That guy was, he was talented, but you see, it ruined them. They get finished mentally. They said, okay, that's it, I'm done. So it's not somebody just injuring them. I mean, with Eduardo, he couldn't hike it. And let's be honest, Eduardo, I don't think he would have been able to do. It was a good striker, but he went to Russia, I think, where he went. He was doing really good. He even scored against Arsenal.
Donetsk, innit? Yeah. You
see, these players, like even Hazard, when they have one big injury, when they come back, they can. It's not like before, because what happens? They know after I was out for 6 months, 7 months, or whatever month. So they get scared. They have to watch themselves. I don't want to go through a tackle. I'm going to pull out of a tackle. I don't want to invite a tackle anymore. I don't want to run that much and everything, because if I do, I am risking the injury. If I get injured again, I'm going to be out of a team. If I'm going to be out of the team, I'm not going to get that contract again. If I don't get a contract, no one's going to offer me a better contract in another place. I don't get to play. And what happens? You become like Jack Wilshere. Your career is finished. The guy's still talented, but nobody wants to give him a chance. Few did, but it's also mentally. It affects their mentality. It affects with people around them. a lot of them even consider to retire early. You know, like Jack Wilshere. The guy's not even 30.
Yeah.
No, he's not even
He's
30.
he's the guy's 28, and
Yeah,
the thing is, players go through depression, hard depression.
yeah,
Why?
yeah. They go
You
through
know,
depression. Yeah,
like for example, Marcus Rashford, this guy, one of the most talented youngsters I've seen in a very long time, since Wayne Rooney times, you know, and like um as Ekram was saying, he had a shoulder injury as well. They had to inject him. Ekram, correct me if I'm wrong. Either that shoulder injury or there was an ankle injury. They had to inject him painkiller, and he
Yeah,
had to play through that.
yeah,
And to be honest, like for example, you see, that injection is just temporary. The pain's gonna come back even worse. Why do you think Koscielny, when he had that Achilles injury, he was out just before the Europa League final? Yeah, he was out, and it took him out of the World Cup. Was it the World Cup? No, the Euros, right?
yeah,
Was it
yeah.
in the World Cup? No, 2018.
World
It
Cup.
was the World Cup. World Cup, my bad. He was
Yeah,
out of the World Cup. So you can imagine, like, that's the biggest club cup in the whole, like, in the history of football. So you can imagine like what an injury can do to someone, especially like just before the World Cup, and plus on top of that, France won it. Now he doesn't have a World Cup medal.
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it affects someone, like they go through hardcore depression, man. And I think that people need to go at sorry like I feel like a lot of players need to actually raise awareness for depression for actual athletes, not only footballers themselves, athletes like in
Yeah,
general.
Because you should remember, especially in football, the lifespan, unless you are Zlatan or Buffon, right? You end up
Mm,
over 35. You're still playing.
mm.
With
And Ronaldo.
yeah. Okay, still gonna go to Zlatan and Buffon. The guy is 40.
Yeah.
After that, their career is over.
Yeah.
Their career is over, and you have footballers. They were talking once, because these kind of injuries, it also affect their livelihoods after. I don't know if you guys have any of you have an injury, like a bone injury, or I mean, if you guys have any of that kind of injury. What happened
Yeah.
is,
Look at
in certain times when it gets cold or something, I've got pain, and Mukhtar knows, but it affects you. You still feel the pain. It will come back, even if you're fit, right? You'll still feel the pain certain times and everything. So this kind of pain still come. I don't know if you guys know John Hudson. I'm sure you guys are familiar with him. Ex-Arsenal striker, West Ham and Celtic. He used to be a good head of the ball, right? Good head of the ball, and he was diagnosed with cancer, head cancer. I think it was brain tumor, if I'm not mistaken. You see, even in American football, they have that when there's a movie which came out starring Will Smith. I think it came out last year about these American football players who, they end up getting head injuries, and it takes them out of the game, or after their career, it affects their their physicality and everything. They become sick. They end up getting head injuries. They do all this trauma. They get all these illnesses quicker. So most of the players, especially now, they're scared. They're scared to have that kind of stuff, because they know what's on that. I get to that level, I am done. So whether it's tackles or this and that, they don't want to commit as long as they get their money. I mean, I don't blame them, because if you're gonna get your money, your career is over after 30s. You want something to look after your kids and your family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Ekram, you got anything to add?
Nah, man, it was a good conversation. Not gonna lie, I listened quite well to.
Good.
It was good. In terms of the mental health thing, yeah, man. It does affect your mental health so much. Sitting at home, I think one thing I want to say about the World Cup thing, Rashford, like, he had opportunities to take surgery before the Euros. He didn't want to, because he wanted to play for the Euros. Because imagine England won that Euros, he'd be like, oh my god, I could have been a England legend and been there part of it. So it's like even Ronaldo, he cried when he got injured during the final.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's a proper mental thing, man. Like, you just
it
wish
does,
you
it does.
never got the opportunity again. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
all I really add to that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mukhtar and Ekram. Once again, thank you again. and really appreciate you guys. And we hope to see you again with us. And to our fans, to all the viewers, thank you. And this is Unfiltered Football. As again, we are all on social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. If you want to see the full channel, the full podcast and other podcasts, you can head to YouTube and look for Unfiltered Football. And once again, don't forget to subscribe and follow and share. Thank you.